The last 12 years, I've been an entrepreneur and pursuing my passion in consumer marketing. So that's something that is very close to my heart. And understanding how consumers buy and what is consumer behavior and what is the mind map is something that I'm always learning. Nobody can be a marketing expert because consumer behaviors, consumer tastes, consumer consumers' mind, consumers' emotions change all the time, right? So that's the holy grail that I'm going after. So just quick introduction about me. I have started 4 different startups and worked in consumer companies as well. More lately, over the last 2 years, I've been focused on helping founders launch their businesses, and that's the core. So I've worked in a venture studio. Currently I'm working directly with founders with launching and growing their businesses. So I think delivery இங்கே வந்தவங்க எல்லாம் இங்கேருந்து தமிழ் பேச முடியாது. ஸோ அவங்க ஆஃபீஸில் பெரியவர் ஒருத்தர் தமிழ் பேசுகிறவரை கூப்பிட்டு வாங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. அதனால வந்திருக்கேன் நான் பெங்களூர்லேருந்து. சென்னையிலேருந்து இல்லை, ஆக்சுவலி நான் தமிழ்நாட்டில் இருந்ததே இல்லை. But Chennai is quite close to my heart. All my family was here, so extended family. So Chennai was my summer vacation spot. Worst time to come to Chennai, but so great to be back here. I think it's a little intimidating to do this session after the panel because everything that I wanted to talk about, these guys have actually been there, done that, right? So it's great to see bootstrapped businesses and scaling to these levels just by pure understanding of how consumer marketing works, how you need to communicate to the customer, and understanding what is the best medium to communicate that with, right? So big respect for all the panelists, guys. One more time, actually, big round of applause. I've made a lot of mistakes and learned this the hard way, and hopefully I'm doing it better now. So quickly I'll go through something that is marketing 101. It's not really a masterclass, but this is something that everybody knows who is running a D2C brand business, but the devil is in the details, right? So when you get into the details is when you really figure out what you should be doing right and what you should be doing better, right? So I'll go a little bit into details in this presentation. Everybody knows the D2C consumer funnel. You start with awareness, which is, people from a consumer perspective, they've never seen your brand, and somewhere they see your brand on an Instagram ad or an influencer talking about it or a friend who has bought it, right? So they've seen your brand somewhere. Then it goes into interest, where they are now looking at what you're selling. So they know what your brand sells, what category your brand is in, right? So they just don't know the name. They also know what the product is and what the category is. Then you move into desire, where they're saying, maybe I should try this out, right? And then they're actually coming to your website and they're window shopping. They're browsing your website. They're looking at different products. They're walking into your store, figuring out if there's something interesting to buy. And it ends so-called in a purchase, where you actually see them buying something from you, right? This is where your money flows into your bank. This funnel is usually the death of most brands, because everything to do here is where you spend money on Meta and Google ads for your digital business, and they will eat your lunch, dinner, and they will bleed you dry. And everybody is doing it, right? You are one of a million brands who is trying to reach the same customer, right, with, different kinds of ads, maybe some better than others, but ultimately it's an auction, right? And just when you think that you figured out the algorithm, they change the algorithm. So it just gets worse from there. I mean, when I was doing my last brand, the average ad spends were less than half of what they are now, right? And this was like 5 years ago, not very long ago at all, right? So that number is only going to get worse, right? So then what do you do? How do you think about scaling your business profitably? How do you get to a point where you say, hey, I can actually beat Meta and Google at its game? This is where the funnel gets interesting, right? Post-purchase is when the consumer, or just pre-purchase and post-purchase is when the consumer experiences your brand. And they see that they are liking what they bought, right? And at some point in time, they like it so much that they start telling others. And that is advocacy. This is the magic potion that will actually make a brand more sustainable, right? So while a lot is being said about, top funnel, middle funnel, bottom funnel marketing, I will talk a little bit about retention marketing here. That is where the experience and advocacy comes in, starting with the point of purchase. First question, who is your customer? The reason why you sell on D2C is because, as opposed to on marketplaces, you get to know a lot more about who your consumer is. But you really need to understand the data and what the data is telling you. First of all, you need to understand how to get the data. And number two, you need to understand what the data is telling you, right? Most brands have a so-called persona of who their consumers are, right? When you start selling, most of you think that this is your brand customer, right? And hence you will sell to them. But more often than not, at least in the early stages, you will figure out that the people who are actually buying are not really the customers that you're trying to sell to. They might be a little different in the demographic, they might be different in the geography, they might be different in purchasing behaviors, the way they come to your website and buy. There are a lot of things that they will do differently from what you think they will do, right? Hence, understanding the data is very important. Once you have the data, and if you understand it well, it actually helps you recommend the right things for them to come back and buy from you, right? That is the power of data if you use it properly. And hopefully, it helps you find more such customers, right, who might also be interested in what you're selling. Very basic stuff. I'm sure everybody knows this, but we'll get more interesting stuff later. First of all, simple stuff, search engine optimization, now AI search engine optimization, which is basically the same thing, but in a new packaged world. AEO, they call it. Yeah. Answer engine optimization. Yeah, fair enough. A lot of that is very, very basic stuff. Is your website loading quickly? Sir, you mentioned, right? Site speed is very, very critical. Are you talking about the right things that people want to look for? And are you talking about it in different places where search engines recognize and bring traffic to you, right? Simple stuff. This has developed very quickly. Simple stuff on chat, sales, and support. Most people use chat as a means of support. Even now, I see a lot of websites and a lot of brands just looking at chat as a place where you track where is your order. You track whether you can get a refund and return. How do you do your returns? There is a lot more that you can do here with the new bots that are out there with AI. But you'll have to train them intelligently. So there is a lot that can be done here. Basic tools, Free stuff, everybody can use this. Google Analytics, GA4, everybody is aware of. But what do you track there? How do you put your, how do you tag it? Look at Google Tag Manager, understanding consumer demographics and understanding consumer behavior on your website is something that you can look at with very simple free tools like Google Analytics and Microsoft Clarity. Start there, and then you can move to more complicated stuff, which you can pay for as well. How many people use Microsoft Clarity here on their website? Yeah. Have you seen some interesting things? So Clarity just gives you a heat map of what the customer is doing on your website. Right? Where are they going? How are they clicking? How many people who started on the top of the page are actually going to the next section of the page and so on until the bottom? How many of them are trying to click in places where clicks are not there? Right? Those are called rage clicks. A lot of, and where are they dropping off? Right? There is all you have to do is go there and start looking at each customer. It tracks every customer's journey through your website. Where are they going to? What are they searching? How are they going to the right place that they want to buy from? And where are they dropping off? Right? So a lot of that, if you just go and look at that, so my, fun pastime is actually looking at how people browse websites. Clarity is my favorite tool. You will learn a lot on what people are doing, and just making sure that you are giving the information in the right place for them to consume and move to the next step, which is closer to purchase, is a big skill that you can actually learn just by looking at Clarity. Let's talk about experience, right? First thing about experience is how easy is it to buy from you? Everybody has their homepage, everybody has their collection pages, everybody has a landing page. But what is a good landing page, right? If a customer wants to come and buy, what are they looking for, and what do you have to show them on your landing page? Here's a simple example that I thought was pretty cool. This is Pilgrim, the personal care brand. I'll just quickly walk through 2 or 3 things that they're doing, right? Here is a product, which is a anti-dandruff shampoo. It could have been any product on this website, but just looking at this. Number 1, the add to cart is sticky. It is right there. By the way, you should be looking at it on mobile, but for ease of display, I'm showing it here. Products, up front, there is a clinically tested 100% dandruff reduction trust marker right there. There is a deal going on as well, which is very clear. Once you move in, again, trust markers, 100% of users felt that it does not cause itching on the scalp, 100% felt a fresh and soothing feeling after using, 100% felt no irritation, right? Very clear understanding and communication of why customers like it and what are the benefits, right? Simple callouts, reduce visible flakes after first wash. You don't have to wait for a long time. Prevents dandruff recurrence. So simple callouts on what the benefits of the product are and why you should buy this. Again, these are the ingredients and what does it do? How does it help you? Everybody puts ingredients, but there is also a simple line of, there are some things here that I can't even pronounce, but it says relieves itching and irritation, which is very important, right? For a dandruff shampoo, anti-dandruff shampoo. If you look at this side, very clear, this is one of the best sellers that they have in their website. Trust markers again, 5,400 people. It's a verified review. They have given 4.7. A little bit of trust marker here in terms of 50,000 people have bought it in the last 30 days. There's a little bit of loyalty here, 19 pilgrim miles on this product. There are offers going on. And then moving down to what are the reasons why. Collapsible format, You can just read the headlines, or you can get into the details. All these things are, if you're going and searching for a anti-dandruff shampoo, the first thing you will ask is, hey, how do I reduce my dandruff? Well, guess what? All the information is here, right? But it is put in such a way that it is not very text heavy. It's very consumable, but at the same time, the search engine tech can actually pick it up. Simple stuff like this, key ingredients, trust markers again, and so on, right? FAQs, other products that you can buy if you don't like this, and so on, consumer reviews. So just at the top fold, as soon as you get in, it has given you so many reasons why you should trust them and you should buy them. You don't even have to go further down to figure out whether this is something that you want to buy or not, right? So how much information can you give them? How rich can your content be? But how easily can your content be consumed is key, right? In a landing page. Site navigation, how easy is it, right? Whether people are browsing on your website, whether they're searching on the website or chatting with your bot, how easy is it? Let's look at one simple, quick example, right? I don't know how to pronounce that. Sounds like a sneeze. But this is a ethnic wear brand for primarily women, but there is menswear as well, and kids. So as I'm landing on this website, there is one prompt here that says, are you looking for something special? Ask me anything, or see our bestsellers, right? Now, I didn't say anything, so it just closed. It gives me space to do my own stuff. I'm browsing. You can see images moving. There are videos that come here as well sometimes. Suppose I want to search, right? So let me say pink. As soon as I said pink, it immediately starts showing me pink stuff, right? Let me say lehenga. While I'm typing, it's intelligently picking out products, right? So easy to search, very simple. So clean, right? As you type, it keeps giving you more intelligent suggestions. You don't have to wait for search, press enter, and then it gives you that information. Let's look at this guy, this chat. Obviously, there's a frequently asked question. Suppose I say, I need a pink suit for Diwali. Gives me some suggestions, intelligently figuring out. So by the way, this AI is purely trained on all the products that are on this website, right? So now it is picking up intelligently what are interesting dresses that I can look at. Here are the recommendations. And it's giving the right recommendations, right? It's all pink. Let me say I need petite sizes. I made a spelling mistake there as well. So here it showed me different sizes. Very quickly it says, hey, by the way, we have suits available in extra small as well. Here are the ones in extra small size, right? So it is intelligently giving me suggestions. Now I can very quickly zero in on what product I need. Yeah. So whether you're browsing, whether you are searching, whether you are chatting, how quickly can you give them the product that they want is one step closer to getting them to purchase the product, right? Ease of checkout. I mean, the panelists very clearly talked about, using one-click checkout options where people don't have to enter their details again and again. That's a big deal. How do you, if it's a high-value product, do you give them EMI options? Do you give them other reasons to buy, credit card offers? A whole bunch of those things are already enabled on payment gateways. You just need to make sure that you make them live on your website. That makes a big difference, right? This is on how easy to buy from you. What is the post-purchase experience? Now let's talk about what happens after the purchase, right? Until this point, until the person has actually come to your website and bought, all you're doing is promise, right? A brand is promising that you will have 100% dandruff reduction. A brand is promising that this lehenga is the best fit for you. When the purchase happens, post-purchase is when the brand has to fulfill its promise, right? How well are you fulfilling your promise? How do you communicate to the customer after they purchase, right? Let's talk about that. Simple stuff. Order confirmation, how long does it take to deliver, and regular shipping updates. When I bought stuff, when I have paid money, we are a low trust nation, right? What that means is I will be very anxious until the product comes to my door from the point where I have spent that money, right? You're an e-commerce company, your product has been seen in an Instagram ad, and by the way, there are lots of stories about people being scammed by Instagram ads. So every customer is very, very scared as soon as they pay, and that is why COD is big as well. As soon as they pay, they are very, very anxious to get the product as soon as possible, right? More importantly, they don't want the brand to disappear, take their money and run away. How do you communicate that, hey, the product is coming to you, right? I have confirmed that I've received your order. I'm shipping it. It is leaving my warehouse today. It is in transit today. It has reached your city today. It is out for delivery. It will come to you today, right? So this entire communication is very, very key. It actually reduces the anxiety for your consumer a lot, right? And all these are plugins that are available with, Delhivery and every other 3PL player out there. I'll show you some very interesting stuff that brands do even after the purchase has been done, right? Normally, how do you send these order confirmation messages? These are Shopify standard templates that you use, that you send it out, yeah? Delivery templates as well, yeah? So you use the delivery plugin to actually send this. Unicommerce has these plugins as well, which you can start sending these. But here's what brands do, right? Very interesting stuff. Why will a person come to buy from you versus an Amazon, right? Because you are talking something that resonates with the customer. You are emotionally appealing to the person, and that's why they're coming to you. Otherwise, they can go to an Amazon and buy any day, right? Why will they come to you on your website? Even after purchase, you need to communicate what the brand stands for and what consistency is there in the brand, right? So give me a second. Sorry, when I restarted, all these things closed out. As soon as I ordered, so this is one of my favorite brands, by the way, Allbirds, casual footwear brand. Their mascot is a sheep, right? Because they make merino wool sneakers. Simple, quirky, thank you for your order, right? But thank you. You is a female sheep. And there's the brand mascot dancing there, very happy that you placed an order. Simple graphics, but reinforces the brand message, communication, language, a little bit of quirk, a little bit of humor as well. Makes you smile, right? When it is shipping, comfort is coming. Hold on, right? Here is the sheep that is packing. It's taking off in a jetpack, coming to your home, right? Simple communications, but made very authentic to the brand, right? Now, this is small delights. Not only am I, reducing my anxiety, but I'm also having fun when I'm starting to see this, right? I'm starting to learn what the brand is. I'm starting to learn, how they work, what they speak, and so on. Brand purpose is the next one. Let me open that. Yeah. So how do you welcome your customer? The customer has bought stuff from you and you have shipped it to them, right? But how do you welcome them? How do you bring them into your brand? How do you reinforce what your brand stands for, right? They have bought the product that you're selling because they believe in something, right? How are you reinforcing that? right? Simple. After the first order, what are the communications that you're doing? Welcoming them into the brand community, so to speak. Community is a very overused and abused word, but simply put, why should they be a part of your brand story? Why should they be, a part of the consumer space in your brand? And why should they come back to you? How do you communicate what your brand stands for and why you exist, right? So if I go, everybody knows whole truth, right? Front and center, right on their website, it says we're rebuilding the world's trust in food, right? If you go to their R story, how many of you have a R story where you actually talk about what the brand stands for and why you created the brand? I saw yours, by the way. Brilliant. Yeah. Gone are the days when people don't care about what the brand is and why they come to you, right? Those are the commodity eras where, the customer wanted the best value for money and that's why they bought your product. Now the customer comes to you because they believe in something and you have to tell them why they need to believe in you, right? Our food is crude. Brand hides what goes into their food because they have something to hide. Our purpose is simple. We make food so clean, we can purely declare every single ingredient that goes into it upfront. We can speak the whole truth because we have nothing to hide. Simple communication that tells you what the brand stands for and why it exists and why you should believe in it, right? It's written by Shashank, who is the founder. He's the CEO. He used to be an obese kid. He became a fit adult, hell-bent on setting packaged food right. That's his before and after picture. He runs his own blog on FitShit, your blog that you mentioned that your brother runs, right? So that is authenticity, right? That is, people want to know what your brand is. What is the human side of the brand? What is the authenticity there and why they should come and believe in you? And he puts a simple PS here at the end. It says, it's very strange to write about yourself in third person. So he has written this himself, right? Simple reinforcement, but it just tells you that the brand cares about telling you why they exist and putting it in a very nice, simple, subtle way that you can understand. This can be sent on a WhatsApp message. This can be sent on email. After your customer gets their order, say, hey, welcome to the clan. Here's what we stand for. I hope the product really fulfilled that promise. Reinforce it, right? Otherwise, people will forget. They see so many brands and so many products every day. People forget. Why will they remember you for the next purchase? This is why they will remember you. You need to reinforce the fact that what you said is actually there, right? This is the reason why they should believe. Try the product and tell me whether it's right or not. That's when you ask for a review, right? This is what we promised. Did we deliver? Tell us. Not just, please rate us 5-star on Google. No. This is how you ask for that feedback, right? This is where marketing automation journeys. How many people have actually created marketing automation journeys? Yeah? Very simple tools exist out there. Multiple tools exist. For WhatsApp, in India, WhatsApp works like magic. Email to a lesser extent, but if you're selling abroad, email works very well. And you can actually set up what the customer gets on the day the order is confirmed, to when the product is received, to when you need the review, to what you should send them later in terms of why should they buy again, right? This is where a lot of people miss the point on what consumer personas are. You hear consumer personas all the time, right? But from a buying perspective, if you really think about who your consumers are, right? There are very simple categories like this. You don't have to go into, urban male, metrosexual who is, has preferences of blah, 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 of other brands that they buy. All this is marketing jargon. Very simple. Let's talk about why. Who are the customers who bought from you? VIPs are customers who bought at full price from you when a sale is not going on. And their order volumes are very high. Order values are very high, right? They've bought multiple products from you, and hence they are very valuable customers. They are your VIPs, right? They don't really care about waiting for a sale. They want to buy because they like your product, right? Or they have enough appetite for coming and consuming your product. Bargain shoppers are people who wait for sales, right? When you send them a sale communication, they will come and buy. Please differentiate between these two. You can very easily figure out who are the people who are buying at MRP or close to your maximum selling price, MSP, versus people who are buying at sales from your Shopify data or from your sales data. Simple. Classify them into VIPs, bargain shoppers. Every time you launch something new, there are early adopters. People like new drops, right? You've done drops. When something new comes, they want to come and buy it because they want to try it first and they want to brag, right? There's a lot of inquisitiveness. There's a lot of curiosity that people want. And that's the early adopters. And so on. You can create many more segments as you mature your audiences and understand more about your customers. But start here. It's very simple, right? Let me give you a simple example. One of my very good friends who is Chennai based runs a company called Pick Your Trail, Hari Ganapati. And at some point in time, I bought from him. We went on a trip on a vacation and we used Pick Your Trail. And 1 second, let me just open. So these are the communications that he sent me. I went on a trip first with him in 2018 with his company. At that time, I think they tagged me as a VIP because I did not ask for a discount. He was a friend of mine, so I said, "Hey, let me try this." So I probably bought at what their potential high price was. They tagged me as a VIP. Here are all the communications that they have sent me in the 2004-2005 timeframe, right? Do you notice any discounts anywhere? None of these communications have discounts. They have clearly classified people who don't buy at a discount versus people who buy at a discount. Somebody who has bought at a discount probably is getting discount communications, but they don't spoil me, who is a high value customer with discounts. What they are sending me is content, right? Have you planned your first vacation of 2025? Here are reasons to travel, right? From March to May, there's a cherry blossom in Japan, there's a tulip festival in Netherlands, there's a Songkran festival in Thailand, and so on. Summer, these are the festivals that are going on. There's a wildebeest migration in Kenya. Autumn, there are so many festivals and so on. So it is giving you multiple reasons to travel. It is not telling you to buy at a discount at any point in time, right? They also have a blog. Real Travelers, Real Stories, one super hit podcast. And apparently underwear is sold in vending machines in Japan. There's a new D2C channel waiting to be unlocked. But this is content that I like to consume. Because I like to travel, I like to see new destinations. They are giving me content that I want to consume. And hence, they are reinforcing the brand in my head. Right? They are not selling. Look at this mail. They never told me, come to Pick Your Trail and buy this. In this mail, they never said, buy. At the end, they say, pro tip, by the way, book ahead, you get the best rates. But this mail goes on for a long time before they get to that, right? So they are giving me reasons why I should travel. And by the way, if you travel, we are here. That's the reinforcement. That's the reinforcement of the brand message. Don't sell shamelessly. Don't keep pushing products to people. Tell them why you are important in their life. That is what they want to hear. They don't want to be sold to at every time. If you keep sending sale messages, you will go to spam, straight up. Right? Tier-based loyalty programs. So loyalty programs is another big space which a lot of people have tried different stuff. I don't know, to different extents it has worked. But I know this one has worked. Keep it simple. There's a friend of mine who runs Kind Life, the beauty care platform. They have something called the Super Kind Club. it's not just you get reward points every time you buy, but they have a little more gamified version of this. They say, shop on Kind Life, every order gets you closer to exclusive rewards. So they have an exclusivity in the rewards, right? They have a little gamification. You climb the tiers, you spend more, you unlock more, perks get bigger, you get more and more. You redeem it while you're checking out. And by the way, you also get important, interesting stuff like birthday gifts, surprise samples, early access, which is exclusive. They actually do an early access where for 1 week, like the Prime Day sale, they only do it for existing customers. They don't show it to the regular audience at all, right? You spend 3,500, you get all this. If you spend more than 6,000, you get different set of stuff, which is more than what the first tier got. If you're an MVP who spent 10,000 or 8 orders, which is your higher order value, you get much more stuff, right? Now they have gamified their loyalty. And this is actually working, right? They get a lot of customers who want to jump tiers because they want to try, they want to get more benefits. So make it interesting. It's not just get coins and redeem. Make it interesting, make it more engaging, right? Gamify it. Resell, upsell, cross-sell, everybody knows. In the interest of time, I'll move. Exclusivity, early access is something that everybody should try. People like newness, right? You should definitely talk about early access. Then advocacy, why should they tell others? There are small points of delight, right? Once you do complete your purchase, you are at a high because, you bought something that you like, right? What can you tell them at that point to delight them? At that point, if you show them, I don't know, anybody use MailChimp here in email? Every time you finish a campaign and hit send, there is the MailChimp monkey that comes and gives you a high five, right? It's a simple, funny quirk, but it really reinforces that dopamine hit. Oh, I did something interesting. I did something good, and I'm feeling happy about it. I need a high five. There's a brand called March Tea. People know it's a t-shirt brand. They are very design-driven, so-called. So they call themselves design-driven, minimalistic designs, blah, 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 and high quality. When they send their t-shirts, they give you a pencil with it, right? And what does it say? It says do good things, something like that. You don't have to spend much in delighting customers, right? You don't have to put fancy stuff inside that box. They give you a pencil. It reinforces the fact that they are design driven. It's very simple, right? But it also is very Instagram worthy. Oh, interesting. T-shirt ke saath pencil mila. What is this? Right? So suddenly you are intrigued to talk about it. So make that moment something that people can share, right? Give them reasons to share. Referral incentives, we've talked about this. But more importantly, making it simple and easy to share. Your sharing message should have the link already there with the referral code already applied so that you can very quickly go and buy, right? Keep it simple. Give the referrer and the referee benefits. Don't just give one person, give it to both, right? Simple logics that you can actually make that happen. This is where a lot of this, when you start getting into it, you start simple and then you start making it a lot more involved and understanding your customers better. As you segment customers and you personalize the messaging, you can, this is where customers coming back is actually zero cost marketing. This is pure profit for your company, right? I have seen brands go, somebody mentioned this in the talk here, a ROAS of 2 means you're dying. Right, which means 50% of your revenue is spent on marketing. A ROAS of 3.5 means you're alive, you're sustainable, right? A ROAS of return on ad spends of a blended ROAS of 3.5 and above, you can actually start making profits. That difference is not going to come from Insta and Google. It is going to come from here, right? As your brand builds, of course, there is organic traffic as well, but in the early stages, you can do this. This is the magic sauce, right? This is where your bucket doesn't leak. Every person who is coming, all the traffic that is coming on your website, you are actually pulling the maximum juice out of it before they leave you, right? That is the difference between life and death. I have learned this by a lot of mistakes. So I'm just telling you that if you have to, at least in the early stages, when your brand is not known, actually make a profitable business now in these days, this is probably one of the big good ways to do it. Questions? Any thoughts? Do we have time for questions? Do you have time for questions?
Yeah, we can take a few.
Okay. Yes.
When you said about a lot of marketing cases, there is this concept of transparent marketing. Like food farm, we have launched their protein brand with everything like that. Is this a future trend? Because like half of the examples that we shown, like they are transparent, they are transparent. What's your take on this?
Yes, transparency is definitely something that is resonating increasingly with the new audience. And that is one of the big reasons people are willing to believe you, right? And it is across the board, whether it is fashion, whether it is food. Food is more than anything else, fitness, right? As you said, 80% whey, right? That is probably most amount of whey across any brand out there. And very few other ingredients. Simple. I think people don't want to complicate stuff. They want to make it simpler, and they want to know what you are doing and what you're putting into your product that you're giving them, right? So yes, transparency is definitely something that people want. In fact, we have seen when people put out their product launch ads, right, videos and stuff, the BTS does better. The behind the scenes video does better than the actual ad itself, right? So people want the authenticity. People want to see what's going on. Otherwise, your Instagram is full of content that is, filtered, heavily filtered and, ad stuff. So people want authentic content, and and it's not just content, authentic products as well that they can believe in, for sure. It can be across industries. Yes, absolutely. If you are able to find the reason that resonates with their value systems, right? Now they want to get more sustainable. They want to get, more environment friendly. They want to get more real in terms of what they're buying and not just, processed stuff. You need to explain that. You need to communicate that, and you need to bring that to the audience, for sure. It is not just transparent marketing, it's transparent product as well. Yes.
What early signs and metrics will help you identify your hero products, and how quickly will you double down on it? Not just any early D2C. For example, I'm having a footwear brand.
Sorry, your good name, please?
I'm Sanket.
And what do you do?
I'm working, but I'm having a D2C venture which is into loafers, leather loafers.
Loofahs, okay.
Yeah, basically positioning as a lifestyle brand, elegant men's lifestyle brand.
Nice, loafahs.
So my question is, what early signs and metrics will help D2C founder to identify the hero products, and how fast can they double down on them? How quickly?
Identify the right products.
Hero products.
Hero products.
Example, I have launched about 5 different SKUs, because I saw a big interview of the Snitch founder, and he says just launch with few SKUs and very few MOQ, and identify your products, then double down on them and increase your color ranges.
Yeah.
So same thing I did, like just few SKUs, 5 SKUs, single color, and I sold out, but not profitable.
Got it. Nice. So still very early stages, but one thing that I normally do is I just go to Amazon and figure out the bestsellers list, man. Right? In your category, in your subcategory specifically. Get as deep as you can in terms of the categories. And there, if you look at the bestsellers list, Amazon gives you all this information for free. So if you look at the bestsellers, you will know, if you just start seeing patterns, right? I know in shoes, it's black, gray, navy blue that sells more than anything else. In men's shoes, at least. Women's is a completely different story, but men's shoes, these are the ones that sell. And if you see the top 100 products, 80 products will be that. That's 80% straight, right? And then that is something that you can use as a proxy, right? Also, you can look at searches, right? In your category, if you look at searches, you will see, long tail searches a lot of those high volumes will be on the most bought items, right? So there are proxies that you can see even before you launch. But when you launch also, your first set of orders, for example, when we used to do Flatheads, right? We used to advertise red sneakers because red looks very good in ads, right? And it pops and people notice. But still, the black and the blues and the grays sold. Right? Because when people come to the website, they want to go with the safest option that they like, that they can wear every day, because mine was an everyday sneaker brand. So even if your brand wants to communicate as flagship product, you will still see that people are converting on something else more often than not. That's where you can start identifying your heroes, right? Conversion rates on those specific products will be much higher than conversion rates on others. I hope I have answered your question to some extent.
Yeah, it was quite interesting. And I had a follow-up question also. When did you decide to expand your product range and what signals validated the timing?
So, inventory kills everybody very quickly, right? Especially in fashion. I think it is always a trade-off between aur kya hai, aur dikhao, right? The selection versus the inventory that you need to hold, right? The more complex your product is, the more inventory you need to hold, unfortunately, in terms of SKUs. But I would say at least get an understanding of what people are buying and why they are buying at least that hero. Until you identify the hero, keep iterating and find one thing that gives you bread and butter. Then you can start expanding into other stuff, right? And even when you're expanding into other stuff, just like that Snitch founder told you, put very limited SKUs. It's fine, right? If it sells out, it's fine. But figure out the velocity of sale. If it's going very fast, which means you need to bring that back. If it's going slower, then hold on. You don't need to expand there, right? So it's a very, I don't know, you will have, it's a test always, right? So for example, when we did I can only give you the experience that I have. When we did our collections, the first set of shoes we launched were wider footprint, right? And hence returns were actually quite high because people found that it was bigger as compared to their regular shoes. So returns were quite high. But what we realized there is the sizes that were selling, right? So people were coming down one size. But by proxy, we figured out the right size that we have to buy. So the next time we did a narrow footprint and we did a regular footprint and we did a large footprint, the next set of shoes that we launched. There we figured out what was the return rates, what was the resize exchange rates and so on. And we figured out what should be the right size variation that you need in a set that you need to buy. So all those are A/B testing. You just need to keep iterating and keep figuring this out as you go along. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Yeah. Sorry, what's your brand? What do you do?
Hi, I'm Priya. I do a jewelry brand. Like I have a brand called Dimplery.
Dimpletree.
Dimplery.
Nice.
Like, so the customer came back and told me like, one time I engaged with you and you keep on messaging me like on email or WhatsApp or everywhere you're there now. So it's like, so I got to know like, so am I too much bothering them? Am I pestering them to buy? Or it's like there is a limit. What's your take on that?
It depends on what you're selling, right? Are people buying jewelry every day? Probably not, right? But if you're selling food, chances are, they're coming back every week to buy you. So the frequency of communication also depends on what you're selling and how frequently people come back to buy, right? If the buying frequency is lower, the next purchase will happen only after 6 months or a year or the next festive season, for example, in your case. Until then, you need to stay relevant in the consumer's mind. That's where you do a lot of that brand communication and you don't sell. You talk about, hey, what goes well with this outfit for the summer? Like maybe summer outfits are in season for the summer. Hey, by the way, this jewelry goes very well with this, right? maybe the festive season is coming, for festive seasons. So you talk about content that is related to your brand, but you don't just push, keep come and buy, right?
That we have.
It's a value addition. It's a relevance that you need to keep in people's mind without selling, without pushing the buy this. Because like it or not, people will not buy jewelry every month or every week. It's not going to happen, right? But you have to stay relevant until the next purchase. So you have to do communications which are more brand related, content related. Maybe you do influencer campaigns. I don't know. Start talking about those. Start talking about experiences that your customers are having. Where did they use it? What use case? Stuff like that might be interesting, right? So you need to figure out interesting content that people need to see without selling, hard selling.
Got it. And also,
shampoo, yeah.
So there is obvious advantage of using that particular product. Like there is some chemical that is not being used.
my brand as
I told you it's going to be a lifestyle one. It's going to be like I have to buy make it buy, right? So what should I put on that product page, which is going to give us more conversion?
yeah.
So, while there are a lot of functional benefits in a lot of brands, what is the core reason why people buy fashion, for example? They want to look good and they want to get appreciated by somebody else, right? So if you're able to tell them, hey, you're going to shine in the party, if it's a party jewelry, right? And bring those alive in pictures, right? So that becomes a reason to buy, right? So you need to communicate what is the benefit to the customer. It's not necessarily the ingredient, it's the benefit to the customer that matters. In your case, I don't know, it's looking good, it's being complimented by everybody, being the envy of the crowd in the party, your relatives telling you that, hey, this is beautiful. It's confidence, it's, right? So there is a unconscious benefit that people want, right? They want to be told that they look good. That is the thing that you need to communicate there, right? So that is the benefit to the customer. So talk more about benefits. Even when they talk about features like this is the chemical that's in there, they say the reason why it is in there is because it helps you with this, right? So as long as you are able to communicate the benefits and reinforce it, by the way, as brand people, we get very tired ourselves and fatigued that, hey, why are we saying the same thing? But guess what? Your customer is not coming to your website every day. You are the one who's coming to it every day, right? So reinforcing the message over years, not just 2 campaigns or 1 year, reinforcing the same brand promise over years is how brands are built. It has to be consistent. It has to be reinforced. It has to be told as a story, and it has to convey an emotion that people can connect with. Right? As long as you are able to communicate that benefit and emotion, fashion is all emotional. So you need to communicate a lot more emotion. Maybe there are a lot more videos, right? The smile, the compliment, right? All those things will bring that to life, right?